Now live.
I am?
Yes.
Is our connection good?
We're good.
All right. Here we are. Hi, everyone, as you're joining us. I'm Gertie. I am here with Melisha, who is holding the phone and will be taking your questions. Say hi, Melisha.
Hi, everyone.
So I'm so excited to be live, by the way. I let you know yesterday I was going to be doing this because we've been saying for a while we wanted to do a live video just to talk about the new Lamour dress. So I am going to show you some of the new features of the new design elements and take you through some little sneak peeks, behind the scenes sort of things, and we're going to have a lovely time. So Melisha will be sort of gathering any questions you have as they come up, and we'll do a little Q&A session at the end, which is always really fun. And I also wanted to say that the last time we went live, we had some real problems with blurriness and connection on our end. But we didn't know until the end of the video when we looked back at it, and you could only see about half of it, so it was really sad for us. So I just want to say, if you notice that anything is really blurry for you, if you could just send us a little comment and let us know that. And if we're getting a lot of those comments, then it's probably our connection, and we will hop off, get on a new network, and come back and see if that helps. So the joys of technology. Okay, so while people are joining us, I did want to give you a little sneak peek of something really exciting that we got in the mail today here at the Charm Pattern Studio in Newburgh, New York, which is the new proof for the new pattern. But first, before I show you that, let's do a little comparison here, okay, Melisha?
Okay.
We're going to compare the old Lamour package to the new one, just so you can see how much work we put into this. How much work we put into this package. Okay, so this is the old one, and we used to use these very flimsy, flimsy is the only word I can think of, these very, very light envelopes, which, you know, are your standard sewing pattern envelopes. But we've since raised our standards here, and we have gone, even for the Jane, which isn't an envelope, we have a very sturdy new envelope. So this was our old, very lightweight, nothing wrong with it. It was a beautiful package. Art of Gemini did this beautiful illustration. And we did our instructions on these newsprint sheets, which again are your typical home sewing pattern package for instructions. But we have since raised our standards quite a bit here at Charm Patterns, and we've been making bigger and better packages. So I want to show you the new package now so you can compare and see how far we've come. The new Lamour dress is going to come in this beautiful box. Okay, so it's very similar to the Night and Day dress in packaging. It is almost as thick as the Night and Day. And this is just the proof, by the way. So this is on a flimsy printed paper, so it's not the hard cardstock that you will get for your package. But look at this beautiful new illustration by Art of Gemini. She is so talented. We asked her to give us a curvier figure to reflect that we have an expanded size chart now. So we're now going up to a size 20, and we have A through H cups. So we're really trying to show a lot of different figures and types of people in our illustrations and in our models. So this is looking very beautiful. The old illustrations are now relegated to these little bubbles over here. And here's a new illustration showing another strap option we have now. So just a nice big package here looking, that sounds so wrong. A nice upgraded package we have, which is very lovely. I want to show you what the booklet is going to look like. Okay, you're gonna get inside that nice, lovely package. You're gonna have 3 large pattern tissue sheets and a booklet. Now, I want to warn you that this is our proof, and it's put together by our printer on heavy paper, so it's not gonna be this big. Melisha got...
I think we're back up.
I think we're back up, okay. We had a little pause due to poor connection, so hopefully that won't continue. But anyway, I was telling a charming anecdote about how you got the mail this morning, and you were shocked at how thick this booklet was. And you sent me a text saying, it looks really big. And that happened to me too the first time I worked with a printer getting these booklets made. So it's not going to be quite this thick, but it will be a tiny, it is a 64-page booklet. So it's fairly substantial. The cover shows the new photos that we have done and our beautiful model, Susie. Love her so much. A joy to work with and truly gorgeous in everything that she did. She totally showed me up that day, and I am 100% here for it. So love Susie. There are some detail shots on the back with the previous photographs, which we took almost 2 years ago now. So they're still lovely, but I of course was really excited about the new one. So that's why that's on the cover. So let's take you guys on a quick little tour of the booklet. As usual, on what we call the end papers of the booklet, you will see all of the design options. So you can make 18 different dresses with this new Lamour pattern. And, long intro from me as usual, can't stop myself. One of my favorite pages is the Design Your Dress page, which we have our wonderful illustrator, Robin. She is our technical illustrator, and we love working with her. She makes a beautiful little new croquis for each design that we do. And this one has a beautiful tropical hair flower. And so you can sketch your ideas and, copy that page and make as many sketches as you like. These are all the new design options, so I'll be talking about them on the models. Cutting layouts, kind of boring. Fitting. There was no fitting information in the first Lamour dress, and now we have this, it's 3-4 spreads of fitting advice and information. Finished measurements are right here. Possible adjustments you may need to make are included here. And then I've also I'm adding this to most of my new patterns now, a note on foundation garments, because that's one of the most common questions I get is what bra do you recommend, what petticoat do you recommend? So I have some great long line bra options. I name them by brand name and model in here for up to an L cup. So, and they are, just to tell you really quickly, what Katie did has a great Merry Widow for B through E cups, and then Goddess has an amazing long line bra called the Adelaide, which goes up to an L cup. So still looking for a good A cup option for the smaller busted ladies out there. So let me know if you have a great A cup long line bra that you love. I still have a little thing caught in my throat. Okay, so then we have our sewing instructions, and as usual, we take you on a choose your own adventure fantasy here, where you can, at any point, it says, and Hattie's here, of course, making her voice known, you can go, make the bodice sash, and then you'll go back to finish the bodice, depending on what design you're making. It has instructions for boning the bodice, as always, lining the entire dress. And then the sarong skirt, which is, my new favorite feature, has, lengthy instruction here. We also just made a free video for a tutorial on how to sew this sarong skirt to help you along. And that will be released when the pattern is released, and that will be released on YouTube. So, okay, let's kind of wrap this section up here. I did want to show you guys the other thing that I really love in these booklets is take your dress to the next level, which we have been including on all our patterns. An entire chapter devoted to ideas for challenging yourself and using different types of fabrics and thinking of different ways to design your garment. So some of them are really simple, like use a contrast fabric for the sash and for the drape. Others are a little more complicated, like how about using lace for parts of the dress? And here's how I would recommend underlining a lace sarong skirt. Some ideas inspired by people like Gina Lola Brigida. One of my favorite pictures was of her wearing a halter dress, so I kind of talk about that inspiration, doing a lace overlay on the skirt. And then using border prints, ideas on adding a gathered skirt, and then even shirring the back bodice panels, which was really common in Hawaiian dresses of this era. So some ideas for that. And then we have a glossary. The pages got a little out of order at the end here, so we will be telling the printer that. So the glossary kind of mixed up with some of that. But that, and then our little More from Gertie page. Collect them all. Okay, so that is the proof. We're really excited if you pre-ordered the pattern, thank you so much. We will be getting the copies in, we're hoping for around June 6th. So, and I'm conveniently jetting off to Europe a few days after that, so Melisha will be handling all your orders. Thanks, Melisha. And we will keep you updated if anything comes up along the way, but we expect that those will be coming in by June 6th. So we're very excited. So let's just take a quick little tour of the old dress and then some of the new features. So this Lamour dress is one of the it actually is the first Lamour dress I ever made. And it's very special to me because this was before I ever knew that charm patterns would become a thing. And I wasn't sure how I was going to use this pattern, but I knew I wanted to do it. And I really wanted to publish independently. So I was working out this pattern on my own in one of my fabrics that I did for Joann's, if you guys remember when I had a fabric line for Joann's. And this dress was based on a Hawaiian dress from a brand called Kamehameha, which is highly collectible. So you'll see these beautiful halter dresses for, you know, $200 to $300. And it had this really cool feature, which I've always loved, which is an inset strap right here. So it does have a little wedge shape on the princess seam. I don't want to touch this one too much because this dress form is defective and it will go crashing to the ground. But maybe we can just gently show you that there's a little wedge right there that you set that strap into. There you go. And the really cool thing about this strap is that it's very, well, first of all, it's very flattering, but also you can wear it 3 different ways. You can cross it in front for like that front halter look, and you can also tie it around the lower back strapless, and it gives like a really cool, pretty drape on the side. So that's the original Lamour. Very proud of it because it does have all of the construction techniques that I really love to teach and show people how to use, which are spiral steel boning and a full lining in the bodice, as well as underlining in the outer bodice. And it also has techniques like my clean finish lap zipper in the back, and like I said, a full lining and a narrow hem on the skirt and the skirt lining. So I love everything about this dress, but I will say from the original Lamour, you could only make one dress. And so we've now expanded it with new options that are mix and matchable for 18 different dresses. So let's talk a little bit about the one that I'm wearing. The bodice is pretty much the same. The princess seam panels stay consistent throughout all of the designs, but you have the option of just doing a plain, trying to think where my, a plain side princess seam bodice, so you don't have that little inset wedge right there. And on this version, so a lot of these elements were inspired directly by Alfred Shaheen, who is one of my favorite designers of the 50s, and made these very beautiful souvenir tiki Hawaiian dresses that people would, you know, for the first time people were going to Hawaii as tourists and coming home with these beautiful like 3-4 piece sets that had like a tiki dress and a removable drape and a little bolero. And so they would come home with these beautifully designed Hawaiian pieces. And those Shaheen outfits, as you may know if you're interested in vintage shopping, you know, vintage shopping for actual vintage, I've seen those sets, you know, in pristine condition go for up to $800. So again, one of my main motivations and why I do all this is because I don't want to spend $800 and I want to make it myself and in the fabric I want, and I want to make it fit me. So that's why we do what we do here. And so this one was inspired by Shaheen, by those beautiful collectible dresses. And I added, one of the big things, and you can see it better on this dress, is this, we're calling it a sash. We've had some debate here about whether this is called a sash or a, I can't remember the other thing that was suggested at some point, but I always thought it looked a little bit like you were just crowned Miss America or something. So you're wearing your sash. So that's why I call it a bodice sash. But this is very common on Shaheen's designs to have this asymmetrical bodice sash. It's a very unassuming little piece, but it was a bit of a nightmare in testing and fitting with all of the different cup sizes that we have now, A through H. This has to change for every cup size and every dress size. So as you can imagine, sometimes little pieces like that we think aren't going to be a big deal kind of become a bit of a beast. So that one was one of the last things that we were working on to get this out, but it has turned out beautifully and it's fitting everyone beautifully now, so we're very happy. And then another thing I want to show you on this bodice is the removable shoulder drape. So it snaps in here, and then you can make it. You guys are going to see how bad I would be at burlesque now. Now you can see that it's a strapless dress. So this is just a long drape that has a binding on the end and snaps. And then it snaps into the bodice, to the lining. And so it's great if you like a little more coverage, you want to, there's a little chill in Hawaii or something that night. But it's really nice for just kind of draping around you, or you can just kind of let it fall to the back, and it's a really beautiful look. So that's the shoulder drape. And then the skirt I'm wearing, and it's on this mannequin, is the sarong skirt. And it's not technically a sarong skirt, but it has the look of a sarong skirt in that it wraps. La la, look at my dry knees. It wraps, and it has, instead of having a sarong knot, like, I've done some designs where you actually tie this skirt. I wanted something that was like a dramatic hip look. So a really voluminous silhouette here to give you like a beautiful hourglass with that gathered drape here. So when you look at the pattern piece, you'll see it has this long extension, and this becomes sort of like a faux dart. So you gather one side of the extension into that dart. And one of my favorite things about this skirt is that it's finished around the hemlines, around the edges, with a facing. So that means that this is a really fun opportunity for a contrast fabric. And in this case, in the case of the green, I've gone with a solid that kind of blends, with the color family of the dress. But if I, go to the side here, you do see a little pop of color. So it's really fun if you do the dress in like black and then have like, a bright pink, like a shocking pink down here, something like that, which really is a great look. And you can also do those, contrast elements in like the sash and the drape and all that. So play with different colors and contrasts. The green is pretty much the exact same dress that I'm wearing, except it has these new shoulder straps, which are just gathered shoulder straps that go from front to back. And the inspiration for these straps was all of you who give me feedback and tell me what you want. And one of the things that we hear a lot is that you would like to wear a bra with regular straps. So not everyone likes to wear a strap. I personally hate strapless bras. I do like strapless bras that go down to the waist or lower because I have more support from that. But just a bandeau sort of thing, no, I do not like it. So I will say I totally get you on the strapless bra thing. Try a bustier if you haven't. But if, a lot of people, for your size, your bra size isn't easily obtainable. Like, I was saying, I've struggled to find an A cup in a long line. For whatever reason, you want to wear a more everyday style bra. This modification with these straps, the gathered shoulder straps, should help you do that. So you can even gather these and place them on your muslin or as you're sewing the dress to make sure that they're covering the bra that you want to wear with the dress. So that, and also, beyond just being functional, it looks really beautiful. So I really love these straps. Just a little bit of gathering gives it a great look. So, I wanted to talk about fabrics because I've been getting a lot of questions about fabrics. So, especially with this purple one that I'm wearing, asking where did I get this gorgeous fabric? And I traveled to New Zealand last year to teach, and I had a lovely student take me to her neighborhood outside of Auckland, which is mostly a Polynesian neighborhood. And they have these fabrics just in every store, and like the faux flowers. So this print is called a Pacifica print, and it is a Polynesian print, and it's a cotton with a sort of bark cloth texture. So as soon as I saw this fabric, I said, we're gonna redo the Lamour dress. I'm gonna have a sarong skirt and I'm gonna make it in that fabric. And I did also want to say that I know that not all of you can travel to this little neighborhood outside of Auckland, but Katie, who took me shopping there, has been lovely enough to send me more fabric from there. And I have asked her to send 6 more yards of this fabric to do a giveaway to you all. So that will be coming up shortly. As soon as we have the fabric here in hand, we will do a giveaway so that one of you can win enough fabric to make this dress in this fabric, straight from New Zealand. And then if you like this sort of look, another great option is batiks. Batiks are everywhere because quilters use them. And this is a quilting cotton, and it has, I actually feel like this is almost feels like a poplin. Like this is a very crisp quilting cotton. I ordered it from Walmart.com. Melisha found it for me because I was saying I really wanted like a bright green leafy batik. And the next day she had done her research and sent me a link to Walmart, and I ordered a bunch of this. It's Robert Kaufman is the brand. So that fabric house, they make a ton of batiks and in all different colors. And so if you're interested in batiks or this sort of style, there is so much out there. So just search batiks online in your local quilt shop. There's so much to be had. And on this one, I used a sort of grass green linen. I'm laughing because Melisha was asking me yesterday. She was like, what is that fabric they use? And I said, linen. And she said, linen blend? I said, no, linen. And then what did you say? Linen rayon?
Yeah.
And finally I was shouting, linen! Linen! So now that's a new joke here. It's just shouting linen anytime you like it. So that is linen. And it is also done on, oops, hi Hattie, you want to say hello? I also did that on the sarong facing here. So you get that nice pop of green. And I also had enough to make the bodice lining in that linen as well, because I hate plasticky fibers like polyester or acetate. I don't like those really close to my body. So I tend to use cotton or linen for a lining. And linen is a great choice because it's highly, highly breathable. So it's gonna feel really good whenever I end up going to Hawaii to wear this dress. Okay, do we have questions?
Let's see. Can I try this as a first project?
Ooh, I would say probably not. There is a lot of support for you if you are interested in sewing this and you're ambitious and you're a fairly new sewer. I'm never going to discourage you from doing that, but I will say that this is definitely a more intermediate level dress. It does have things, like I said, like the spiral steel boning, the underlining, just the construction of it. It's not impossible. I think, anyone with a little sewing experience and a little bit of patience can do it, but I would urge you strongly against doing this as your first project. I would say get some more dresses under your belt. Oh, what's this? Maybe start with Gertie Sews Jiffy Dresses, which is meant for beginners and has some really beginner-friendly projects. And then work your way up to the Lamour dress, which, part of the reason I made the Lamour dress class on Charm School, which is part of our website, is for that reason. Like, a lot of people don't know how to use things like spiral steel boning, and that course takes you start from finish making this version of the dress. So all of the skills in that course for the bodice still apply to the new versions, but it didn't have, for instance, the sarong skirt in it, so that's why yesterday we were busy making a tutorial that's going to go up on YouTube for you that will be totally free, so you can supplement the Charm School course with that.
Can you talk about new releases for 2019?
Oh, I'd love to. The problem is I want to spill all the beans about everything all the time, and Melisha wants to keep everything a surprise. And she's smart to do that. But I can tell you that when we shot this new Lamour dress, we also shot 2 more patterns. And they've been getting ready to go in behind the scenes, and I'll just say that one of them is a dress, and it's a style of dress that I've been asked for a long time, and it interchanges with the Lamour. So we're thinking of the patterns in terms of little families now, in terms of what their ease profile is. So Lamour is like a strapless dress, right, obviously. So it has a certain amount of ease that's necessary to make it fit correctly. So we can keep building on this pattern and make it interchangeable with new pieces. And we're calling it the Lamour family. I don't know if that's what the official name for it, but the new dress is called the Liz. And then we have another one lined up after that, which also has an L name. So we have been working to think of things that you can interchange. So there will be that new pattern, and then we also have another pattern that's more like an accessory sort of thing that you would wear with your Lamour or your Liz or any of your charm patterns. So we're really excited about that. And that one, we have a good mix, I think, coming this summer of the dress, which is more advanced, and then the other pattern, which is more beginner friendly.
Will you be releasing more fabrics? Any new fabrics?
Yes. These new fabrics are coming out with Michael Miller. So those are all quilting cottons, but they do make beautiful dresses. And I think if you've noticed me wearing that one with the border print, that's a new collection from Michael Miller. And I think it ships next month. And it is called Boudoir, and it has little things like novelty perfume bottles and fans and lace and feathers, strings of pearls, and yeah, this beautiful illustrated one. I don't want to, I won't get too much into this. I want to surprise you guys a little bit, but that's coming out really soon. And I also have a new line coming out at Spotlight. So for those of you who live in that half of the world, there is an amazing new collection coming out that I am really excited about. And of course, I don't know what the release date is now, but it's coming. And I will hopefully, we'll have some sources for those of you who don't live in Australia or New Zealand to purchase those fabrics. So I'm a little iffy on continuing to sell fabrics on the Charm site, so we might just need to refer you to other people to buy them.
Not Lamour related, but have you ever considered doing swatch books? They're impossible to find, but would be so useful for novice sewists.
No. I'm not. I remember there was a company that made swatch books of fabric so that you could feel the different types. I assume that's what they're getting at. Like, to be like, here's silk crepe, here's silk chiffon. I think that's really useful. I think that I hope someone else does it because I think it would take a lot of time away from, new patterns and what we're doing here. But yeah, I hear you. It's really hard to, especially with fabric stores kind of diminishing in the country. At least in the U.S., we don't have a lot of access to really high-end garment fabrics in a lot of areas. So I understand it's like really hard to get a sense of different fabrics. But luckily some of the big stores like Moon and B&J and all that, they do have a swatch service. So that's the best I can really recommend at this point. So sorry.
Do you plan on designing more casual patterns?
Yeah. Actually, we've been talking about that a little bit. I just ordered some really cute little patterns as inspiration. I like the idea of having more like, I have this sort of like vision of myself now that I'm 40. I'm already thinking like, how am I going to be the most glamorous, eccentric older woman that I can be? And I always think like, in like Mad Men, like Midge at the beginning, she was like an artist and she wore like little capri pants and like big oversized smocks and stuff. And like, we should all be dressing like eccentric lady artists from the 50s. So I kind of had like a little vision where I'm going in that direction, but it's not fully formed yet. So I don't have anything like a follow-up to Gertie Sew's vintage casual plan, but I do, think that there's a definite place for more casual wear at Charm Patterns and in other sort of outlets that we're planning right now.
Is it possible to do the halter strap if you also have the bodice sash that crosses over the bust?
No, it's not. That's a great question. And it makes me realize I should have talked a little bit more about how you can interchange things. So let's just go back. Can we go back to this bodice with the halter strap? So the thing about it is that if you put the sash on there, I do think that it would interfere with the line, and also you wouldn't be able to get it to the side seam here. So yeah, that's a no. We can't do that. But you can interchange this halter strap bodice with the sarong skirt, and it looks amazing. And that's my model Susie. She wore the leopard print version. If you guys saw that on my Instagram or on Facebook, she was wearing this bodice with the sarong skirt. It looks amazing. So yeah, that is one limitation, that with this halter strap, you can't like add the shoulder. Well, I guess if you wanted to have this, actually, okay, all right, here's what you could do. You could wear the halter strap around your back, so for the strapless look, add in the little drape snaps, and then you could have that look and take the drape off and wear the halter strap. So that's one thing you could do. I'm sure people are going to get really creative with this, but yeah, there's some things that you obviously can't mix, like this strap. You wouldn't want to also have a halter strap. But you know what I think would be really cool if you wanted to have a halter strap with this is just borrow like from the Jane set, or just draft a quick rectangle. Gertie's Ultimate Dress Book, I talk about how to make halter straps. Just a rectangle and put buttons here and here, buttonholes on either end of the rectangle, and just, you could just button it in. That was very common for Shaheen style dresses, was to have that would be one more element, was a removable halter strap.
Will you be designing any Hawaiian border print fabric in the future?
I don't have any plans for it at the moment. I think that's always been an idea that's kind of been tossed around behind the scenes, and I have proposed at various points, but it's obviously never made its way to the light of day. So, but it's good to know that people want that sort of thing. I mean, I love Hawaiian prints and I love border prints, so mix them together, and that is amazing. So yeah, it's definitely a good idea, and I will keep that in mind.
Would you consider doing a book with stretch knits as opposed to mostly wovens?
Totally. I'm like 100% on board with that. We've actually been talking about knit patterns a lot here, and I did have a bunch of knit patterns in Gertie Sew's Vintage Casual, but like you said, they were mixed with wovens. And I don't sew a lot of knits, but I have had an idea I do like sewing knits when I do it. And I've had an idea for a sort of knit wardrobe for quite a while now, and we've been tossing around back behind the scenes here on the best way to get that to you. So whether we do a big, a knit wardrobe pattern like the night and day dress, but for knits, or if it's more of a book project, or if we do small, single patterns for knits that we release to you one at a time. It's not going to happen for 2019 at this point, but it's definitely like on the radar for 2020. So it's great to hear that you're interested.
Have you made the famous halter white dress Marilyn Monroe wore?
The 7-year itch one. Of course, now I'm blanking. I'm thinking of the chiffon pleated one, for the 7-year itch, and then she wore a beautiful white halter dress to the premiere of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and then she also wore a little white dress in the 7-year itch, which like had the little cross ties, and like she was like, "Oh, my strap broke." I'm inspired by all of those things. So yes, I look at Marilyn all the time for ideas. I've never made any of those particular dresses, but I keep thinking about that, the little "oh, my strap broke" dress that kind of goes like that. I think that would be a really cool neckline to play around with in the future, especially in our Lamour series. That could fit in well.
Any tea timer set in the future to go with the tiki theme?
Ooh, I like that idea. Yeah, I've been looking a lot at those, what are they called, Polynesian patterns that were sort of independent line that you can still find on Etsy. They did some really beautiful things. Like I love pakemus, which were like, the sort of little mandarin collar and then the bat wing sleeves, and then they're very long and glamorous. Now that I've done the popover dress, I feel like I'm getting a little more addicted to comfortable things. And Melisha and I have been wearing our popovers like every day in the office. So I'm like, what's the next popover dress? And like a pakemu would be a really beautiful sort of updated, more loose fitting garment. So that's something I think about too, is, we don't all want to wear tightly boned dresses every day of our lives. I love sewing them and I love wearing them, but yeah, you need everything in your wardrobe. Your pakemus and your popovers and and your Lamour dresses. So
how do you decide what Spotlight gets as opposed to Michael Miller?
Well, I mean, they're totally different companies, and Spotlight, they tend to have, at this point, we've been working together for a few years, and they have, sort of an idea of what their customer really likes. And so that line has been going in a certain direction for years now. And, when we start talking about new ideas, they already know kind of what's been doing well and what they would like to see more of. So then when I started working with Michael Miller, it was, it was starting from scratch again for me. And it was nice because Spotlight is amazing to work with, but for the first time I didn't have that sort of like, Michael Miller's a quilting company and they're independent. So for the first time I was thinking, like, what would I do if I could do anything? And the first thing I came up with is I want to do that iconic spiderweb print that I did last year. So Michael Miller, I tend to think of things that I've always wanted to do, like the spider webs, the fans, that for some reason never were very, wide level retail friendly for a store like Spotlight or like Joann's or whatever. For whatever reason, they didn't make it there. I'm not saying that Michael Miller gets my leftovers. It's kind of what I feel like it's sounding like a little bit as I'm talking more. But Michael Miller, there's not a lot of constraints on what I can do there. And so I really think a lot about what are the designs that I've always wanted to do that I haven't had a chance to. And for this season, it's really those beautiful fans. So, and for Spotlight, what's coming up is they love the florals, they love border prints. I'm lucky with Spotlight in that they do more garment fabrics. They do garment fabrics like satines, they do the rayons. So they're totally different companies. And it kind of depends on where they're going with their customer base, what they want. So, but I will say the exciting thing about what Spotlight is doing next is new colorways. So we've done a lot of black. I do a lot of black and red always because I wear a lot of it, but we have some exciting new colors coming.
Do you recommend using a fabric with a stretch? The batiks are beautiful, but do they stand up to wear without wrinkling?
They're cotton, so they will wrinkle a little bit. If you sit down, you might get some drag lines across your hip like you would on any pencil skirt. Stretch and wear, I think that's a really interesting topic. And pretty much every pattern that I do, people say, but can I do it in a knit? And I almost always say, please don't. I have done some patterns where I thought the Rita blouse, you could adapt it to do a knit. And I know that you said stretch and not knit, so I'm, if I'm going off on a tangent and not answering your question, I'm really sorry. I'll try to answer it. But I will say knits and wovens, as I'm sure you all are getting a sense of, are totally different things. And a knit would be totally wrong for the Lamour dress. So please don't make it in a knit. And don't ask me if you can make it out. Yeah, you can make it in a knit. But my answer will be no. Because it really needs some structure. And I do recommend non-stretch fabrics for the Lamour. You can use a woven blended with Lycra, which is maybe what you meant when you said stretch fabric. But keep in mind that when you do that, you are going to lose some of the structure of the bodice because it's going to sort of move and breathe with you, which is what people love about stretch wovens, is that you have a little more give with them. But just keep in mind that you're counteracting some of what you're doing by building in all that structure to the bodice by making it in a stretch woven. But it's certainly possible to use a woven with a little bit of Lycra blended in. Did I answer the question?
Yep.
Okay.
Any chance to have additional foundation garments?
Oh, as patterns?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's something I think about too, is maybe doing some lingerie patterns. I was thinking of starting, if I do, with things that are a little simpler and aren't I think the more that I look at foundation garments and bras and bra patterns, the more respect I have for how complicated they are and how it really takes a specialist to make a great pattern for them. And especially now that we are getting into having the range of cup sizes that we have, it does scare me a little bit to think of what it would be like to draft a Merry Widow or something like that. We do have a dress coming up that has almost cups built into it, and it's been really, the fit on that has been, it's just taken a lot of rounds to get correct. So, I mean, I wouldn't want to do something really complicated and then not do it well. So, I've tended to, I've pitched books on foundation garments. I've always had a big interest in lingerie and lingerie design, and it's just never really happened as much as I have been interested in the past. But I think that might be for the best in some ways, because like I said, it's really a skill and a real art to designing patterns for lingerie, but it doesn't mean that I don't still want to do it. So we'll see.
How many A-line dresses are in your book?
A-line dresses. Well, when you say A-line, I guess what I think of is that sort of like iconic 40s, like, you know, not even a half circle skirt. So that sort of shape. There's the swirl dress, and I assume we're talking about my new book too. So there's the swirl dress, which has a very simple A-line shape. The popover is more full. That's more like a tent that you cinch. A poor dress, I keep calling it a tent, but it really is. And it looks really cute when you cinch it. And then what other, the chemise is more like a sheath silhouette. The boat neck has a gathered skirt, or yeah, there's one, right? There's one, there's the swirl dress. And then if you like A-line shapes, like that sort of very, you know, that triangular sort of A shape, in my previous book, Gertie's Ultimate Dress Book, which is mix and match bodices and skirts, there is an A-line skirt that you can mix with all the bodices. So I would recommend that book for you if that's what you're looking for.
Do you accept Apple Pay?
No, we don't. But it was brought to my attention that, you know, that's something that it says when you go to checkout, that Apple Pay is an option, but we don't actually have it when you go to the checkout page. So yeah, thank you all for, I'm just going to say thank you for bearing with us as we've been, you know, this is still a really new company, and, you know, we've only had a website for a year and a half. So, you know, up to this point, I only had a blog. So I really never had to worry about Apple Pay or anything like that. So, you know, we're working it out as we go, and like, I'm really happy with how the website is functioning right now. But we do have some things that we're working on, like the account. There's an issue where if you sign up for an account, you can like, it's hard to get back into it. So, and I've always said like, why do we need accounts? But these are like conversations that are happening behind the scenes, and like, we have an amazing web gal who has been working with us. And yeah, if there's anything that you would like to see, like Apple Pay, you know, please let us know. Okay, I feel like that was amazing. Thank you all for joining us. And I do just want to say also that we are trying to do more live videos. So we'll probably be doing these, you know, about once a week until I leave for my trip, and then I'm going to be gone. I'm going to Berlin and London and Paris, and I'll be teaching in all those cities, so I can't wait to meet you all there. And so we're going to be doing more of these. So if there's anything that you would like to hear us talk about in a live video, we're here for it. So I also want to say thank you to Melisha for doing such a wonderful job moderating and taking your questions, and just generally being my amazing right-hand gal here. So, and thank you to Hattie for not barking too much. Yay, Hattie. That's it. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.